there's I sent this article to Ben. This was really strange. And, usually when people sue, I always go like, do you really need to sue? Because we're such a litigious country. Every billboard is like, sue them. There was a billboard when I was growing up. Me and my dad used to pass on the highway. It was called 1-800-SUE-THEM. And that was the billboard. And it was about, your ability to sue anyone for any reason at all. That's the type of country that, we have. We have a country where the legal system, basically exists as a place for personal vendettas, for get-rich-quick schemes, as a way to arbitrate any and all disagreements. But then there are things where you go, okay, I get it. I get it. Now, whether you're a fan of lawsuits or not to handle problems, there are certain stories where I go, oh, I could see that. I could see a lawsuit there. That makes sense to me. Black mom sues LA Unified, which I believe is a school district, over a cotton picking project at elementary school. Yep, this is going to be one of the lawsuits that I can understand. A black parent filed a civil rights lawsuit last week against the Los Angeles Unified School District and the Board of Education, saying that a cotton field was set up at an elementary school in 2017 that was intended to teach students about the experiences of slaves. Rashonda Pitt said her 14-year-old daughter, who is referred to as SW in the lawsuit, experienced emotional distress as a result of the project at Laurel Span School that her social justice teacher said was to help students, quote, gain a real-life experience as to what African-American slaves had endured. Oh, boy. The suit also names the school's then principal and social justice teachers defendants. Since the project, Laurel Span School was closed and a new school, Laurel Cinematic Arts Creative Tech Magnet, was created in its place. She said in September of 2017, her daughter, who used to vibrantly share her day with her mother, became very quiet and reserved. And you imagine this. One day, as Pitts was dropping off her daughter on campus, she saw a cotton field in front of the school and called the office to speak with the school's principal, Amy Diaz, who was unavailable. Pitt spoke with the assistant principal, who explained that her daughter's class was reading Frederick Douglass's autobiography and that the cotton field was created so students could have a, quote, real-life experience of slavery. Well, they had a whole big thing.
Mm-hmm. This was right over in West Hollywood.
Of course. Yeah. Of course it was. They had a whole big thing. And so she didn't have to pick the cotton, her daughter. But she had to watch other students complete the project while she cared for other crops in the garden. I mean, God help us. So they say, well, we're teaching the white kids about what happened with slaves. So they're going to have to pick the cotton. But why don't you go tend to some okra or some other vegetables in the garden? They're making a black girl tend to vegetables in a garden while watching white people do the cotton thing. And this is a good idea. This was someone's idea of a good idea. And now there's a lawsuit. And there's a lawsuit now. I don't know how much emotional distress the daughter experienced. I imagine it's something, but a jury will decide. Mm. But again, it's one of those things where I go, of all of the things that people sue over, if your daughter came to you and said, your black daughter came to you and said, today at school, they did a project where we picked cotton to learn about the experiences of slaves, I can imagine that you would be upset about that. That would not go over big. So there is a lawsuit, and we don't know what'll happen. We are waiting here with bated breath. We don't know. Sad.
They tried to change the name of the school. But this is going to follow them. There's no getting around this.
The problem with this is when people start to use their imagination and they're trying to be good people, they tend to do the most horrific things that have ever been done. This is not uncommon. When people are trying to be good people and they don't know how to be, and they think they can flip a switch and understand something or be a, quote, part of the solution on the right side of history, whatever it is, and they start using their imagination, they start being creative about how to do that, the horror is unending. It's terror will be unleashed. They will do things that they think are genuinely good until people see them and go, what the fuck is this? I mean, they will literally, the idea that they had a cotton field in front of the school, like they had to, this was not an accident. This was planned. It happened with the full knowledge of many, many people that had to sign off and go, this is a good idea. Let's get the kids out there. Let's get them picking cotton. Then they'll understand what the slaves went through if they have to pick cotton in front of the school. Insane. But this is what happens when you have people that are going like, how can we creatively show children what slavery was like instead of worrying about other things? You go, let's put our heads together. How can we recreate slavery today for the kids? No, I know. We got the math test. But we want them to feel the lashes on their back and the calluses on their hands. We want to recreate chattel slavery today at school. How can we recreate settler colonialism after lunch? Yeah, that's a bad idea. This is a bad idea. This is not a good idea. This is the opposite of that. But this is not surprising. I know some people that would do something like this thinking that it is good. You know? No, we built a gas chamber in the gymnasium to teach the kids about, what do you mean you're upset? What are you upset about? How are they going to know what the Holocaust was like if we didn't build a gas chamber in the gymnasium? We wanted to give the kids, yes, well, some of the kids got to be little Nazis, and then some of them got to be Jewish people. It's because they're becoming better people. What is wrong? It's absurd, but this is what happens. So go get the money, make them cough up some money. I'm going to talk about